You are now listening to the Yeshiva League Pass Tip-Off.
Welcome to the #1 basketball podcast, where if you don't really understand what the name's about, you're probably in the wrong place. My name is Jason Aron. I am joined on that side of the screen by my co-host, Ari Witkes. You may know him from such things as the voice of After Basketball, the voice of the Saturn tournament, and you've probably seen him around the playground or two playing basketball with young children as the founder of the Lion's Den. But we won't dive too far into that in the first minute of the first show.
That will be for another podcast.
Understood. Ari, how's it going on this this fine weekday evening?
It is going fabulous. Haven't seen you in a long time. I'm just excited to see you and hear you.
Only virtually.
Right. So this is exciting. I mean, this is wow. We are. We're at our, what is it called? The pilot. The first one.
It's the pilot. It's
prelude.
Episode 0. It's episode 1. It's binary. You know, it's 0 or 1. It's one.
Okay,
or the other.
I'll pretend
we'll
I know what binary means. Okay, but yes. So why are we here? Besides that, we both like to talk and we both
like
find ourselves amusing
and like colored lights.
Right, exactly. So we are here, because Yeshiva League Pass has approached us about keeping their audience informed. Right, they're unbelievable on Instagram. Yeshiva League Pass. They have the YouTube channel. They have so many different platforms where they are trying to keep everyone involved and in the know of what's going on in Yeshiva League sports this year. And
by the way,
what's going on in Yeshiva?
As I sit on the other side of the screen and try to figure out how to point to the Yeshiva League Pass logo, I want you to know I do this professionally for a living and watch people suffer through this all day. Trying to figure out what side of the screen you're pointing to is not easy. It's reversed, it's backwards, it's upside down. Oh, Ari, you're not going to break the microphone in the first minute, are you?
No.
No.
Okay.
No.
There we go. I just had to elevate my volume.
As you were saying, what's going on in Yeshiva sports?
Yeah. So hold on. Listen to that.
Nothing. Absolutely nothing.
Right. So Yeshiva League Pass, they know their audience is thirsty for something. So what eventually this podcast will be, and God willing, second half of the year, most likely next year, we're going to have a weekly show. We're going to recap the week that was in Yeshiva League sports, give our plays of the week, the players of the week. We're going to have online interviews, Zoom interviews with our player of the week. They're going to come on. They're going to get their swag and their awards for becoming player of the week. And, we're going to recap what happened and the rankings and, the who's hot, who's not. Well, probably not the who's not, because these are kids.
It's not. It's not. Come on.
We're a positive show.
Yeah.
We're a positive show, although we don't want anyone testing positive.
That's right. That's right.
Corona or COVID. Or anything.
No positives.
Right. No
negativity.
Positives. All about negativity.
All around.
Yes. So that is the ultimate goal. But we were talking about, Yeshiva League Pass said, would you be interested in? I said yes. They didn't even finish their sentence. And I said yes. But,
of course.
Yeah. So I said yes.
Ari, there is a void. There truly is a void. And I think it's difficult because we both have children that play sports, and look,
and children who don't play sports, and we love them equally.
Well, yeah,
just not during sports season.
True for both of us. But there's a global pandemic going on, right? And of course, the first thing you think about is people's health and people's safety, and sports goes on the back burner, and it ultimately it becomes last. And I think we saw certainly towards the middle of 2020 how the professional sports league started to figure out ways to come back and play, and that was a different thing. That was to provide entertainment to the masses.
By the way, on that note, as today is one of the days when Yeshiva League sports comes back, they're only going to be allowed at 10% capacity. So for certain schools, you may have one student watching the game, because that is going to be the 10% of the max that they hold. So just so you know, there are going to be different changes this year if and when it comes back. But
I think us, we'll be in a good position doing the show to kind of talk about that and talk about those things and keep people informed as best as we can. And it's very interesting. I think when this pandemic happened about 11 months ago, I'm certainly of the people that thought that this would be 6 weeks, 8 weeks, back to work.
Everyone will get a little vacation and come back, roaring.
I mean, I've been to my office since the pandemic started.
You have an office still?
Wow. The company does.
Is that a place where you used to go to work?
Yes, correct.
Right? Okay.
I have been there about 5 times over the course of the last year.
I've been to the doctor's office. That's about the only office I've been to recently.
I wouldn't.
But all
I
good. I'm
wouldn't have
healthy as a
dreamed-
horse.
I wouldn't have dreamed in a million years that this would last as long as it did. And I think, then the phrase "the new normal" started to come into play. And
It's not really a dream. It's more of a nightmare. Right?
well, and with Yeshiva sports, that is something that is going to become a new reality. I don't know if it's the new reality, what we're living in now and what it means. And, will there ever be fans at Yeshiva sports games again?
Right. And by the way, talk about, we talk about how there's no sports and, it's a void, like you said. And it's really, you feel for these kids. I mean, like I said, the seniors, the 8th graders, the freshmen, the 6th graders, like the ones who are really their first or last, jump into sports. They don't have that opportunity, and you don't repeat senior year unless you're Jay Aron. I mean, that's not because of sports reasons. That's because of educational reasons.
They wouldn't let me leave. They wouldn't let me leave.
Exactly, because you were such a great live streamer back in 1987.
I'll tell you seriously. I have a 6th grader who's my younger
Jakey
son.
Aron. Jakey Aron.
Shout out Jakey Aron.
Yes,
and
member of the Lions Den program.
Absolutely, and this would have been his first opportunity to play, organized school basketball. He's played organized basketball before, but it's different for these kids.
Totally
playing
different.
For your school is
put on that uniform.
Big deal.
Absolutely.
And, he has an older brother who's been playing school basketball for 3 years already. This year would have been his 4th, and it's, by the way, you talk about like how these memories, like you have to remember sitting on the bench watching people score goals, right? Whatever sport you played, and I actually
those
remember
great moments for you watching
sitting on the bench watching people shoot baskets and scoring goals.
Right.
So I warmed the bench.
Those are big thrills.
Sports.
For me, I have
different sports.
Right. I remember missing a foul shot or something. Something important that actually you're physically involved in the game.
By the way, so people don't think I did play hockey in my.
Yes.
I was not a bench warmer.
He wasn't always a gamer / not mainstream.
And in 8th grade, I was the 6th man on the basketball team.
Wow! And they only had the school was 8 kids back then.
I went to Yavna. Shout out Yavna, New Jersey. That's big school, man. Big school.
Yeah, it is. By the way, you went to. I didn't even know you went to Yavna.
Yeah,
I think they're called the Red Hawks now. By the way,
honestly,
not sure why I know that.
I don't even know if we had a name then.
Yeah, but it's funny. Interesting story. I remember I went to Hebrew Youth Academy, which is now Kushner. To date yourself.
I've heard of it.
So our first year, when I was in 6th grade, we said, okay, let's have a basketball team. I mean, there wasn't even a team. So we just came up. I'm like, let's call ourselves the Blue Demons. And, we just invented a name. And that was like, that's how old we are, that we can remember when there were schools that there weren't sports teams and there weren't, segregated classes, like a 6th grade team, a 7th grade team. It used to have been like, you take every grade possible, you're going to make one team. And you're going to play 2 games.
Now, Ari, you and I both live in Long Island now, but clearly we are giving away
our Jersey roots.
That we're both Jersey guys.
Right. Well, that's why we have the Garden State tattoo on our backs.
Yes, exactly. I went to TABC, and a couple years.
Can you still spell that?
I think I got it right the first time.
You got it.
A couple years before I got there is an urban legend that I believe to be true, that the school, it used to be the TABC Blues were the hockey team. And the basketball team, I forget what they were. I want to say
Storm. Oh, no, they're a Storm now.
They're a Storm now.
Then.
I want to say they were the Heat or they were the.
I'm going to try to remember. We played them. I went to JAC. We played TABC in their inaugural years.
They were whatever they were when you were.
They were terrible. I remember that, but it was like one of the few teams we knew we were going to beat.
I forget what they were. Anyway, so as the story goes, the school wanted to unify its school name for all of its teams.
But we also had 2 names: a hockey name and a basketball name. Very strange.
Right. So they wanted to unify it, and ultimately they did, and it became the Storm. Not to bury the ending, but the kids were allowed to pick the name, and they selected the Gamecocks.
Did they have an internet vote back then? Or was it like
internet,
like the NBA AllStar Voting?
No. But they selected the Gamecocks of South Carolina.
Bleep. Yeah,
and it almost became the name, and I don't know what stopped it. Like I don't know who.
That's
who
a
in
South
the 11th hour
Carolina.
said,
Yeah, it's a South Carolina name.
Wait a minute.
By the way, that brings me to Tip-Off. The great name of our podcast.
All right, I have to listen. I have to stop the show here. I don't often give you credit because you usually don't deserve it.
Let me remember the last time you did. Oh, never.
No,
okay,
right. You truly don't often deserve it. But when we were discussing doing this podcast, you came to me and you said, I have the best name. and you said Tip-Off, and that was it. I died laughing for about 3 minutes, and I said, that's the name.
Then we resurrected you.
And we discussed it with Yeshiva League Pass, and there were a couple other ideas swirling that have already left.
This was lock loaded.
This was it. This
right,
was
we
it.
were going.
And by the way, if you don't get it, please tune into another podcast. You're in the wrong place.
Right,
you're not.
You got to get
the wrong show for you.
By the way, talking about the show, so eventually, we're going to be bringing the recaps, every exciting thing happening in Yeshiva: floor hockey, basketball, volleyball, soccer, Torah Bowl, all the
football.
The football, all the mainstream.
Did you say girls volleyball?
Girls volleyball. You're a big fan of that, so we're going to do it all. But in the interim, we said, you know what? Let's find our show starting off with some amazing guests who are Jewish and have a story that we would like to share with our audience. And this is something we're going to be doing. One of our first guests is going to be Amir Goodman. He was going to be our first guest. He's in lockdown. He lives in Israel. He's got a lot of Kindle. He's got about 5 or 6 or 7 or maybe 8 kids by now when you're in lockdown.
Lockdown, who knows? Lockdown in Israel. And does the government still pay you per kid? I don't know how that works.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not sure how it works, but we'll ask Amir that. But he has such an amazing story. And a lot of people, I'm 46, you're 36-ish.
8.
You're 38. So,
I don't look a day over 36. Though.
No, you don't, especially with the hat on. You can't see what's under that head.
There's plenty. Look at the cartoon. There's hair. There's hair
right. Well, you can make anything you want. I mean, you made me a big forehead, and I have a big forehead. So, the story of Amir Goodman is something that the younger generation probably is not as familiar with as, you and I are. But, he was ranked a top 25 recruit in the nation. He got a full scholarship to University of Maryland. And, our interview with him is going to be more than about, him. He just wasn't going to play basketball on Fridays, Shabbos. And, that's why his scholarship got changed and he ended up going to Towson. I mean, he has such a story of inspiration, and I have some really good questions, I think lined up.
I'm sure you do.
Our goal of our podcast is to make every guest cry, because isn't that the goal of Jerry Maguire, right? When you bring him on the show, I'm not going to cry, Jerry, right? Whatever Roy Firestone.
In the documentary world that I come from, you win if you make your interviewee cry.
Oh, that's the ultimate goal. I mean, really, there's
cry, you win, and a basketball. If we could get people to cry in a basketball podcast,
right? You and I.
By the way, this show is not just about basketball. I mean, granted, you came up with the best name of all time, and so it had to go. I'm the goat of
Yeshiva League podcast names. Thank you.
But Ari, from what I hear, there are some legitimate guys coming up all over the country, legitimate college recruits. Not just we have in baseball. You were telling me the other day about
there's actually an Orthodox Jew from Nevada, from Vegas, who's talked about, I don't know his name, but he's talked about as being a number 1 or 2 pick, first or second round in the Major League Baseball draft. And he said he's not playing on Shabbos. I mean, these are big time stories. And we know, Jacob Steinmetz, so we'll get into Coach Elliot Steinmetz in a sec. I mean, the game, people in kudos to all these kids out there, they're shooting for the stars, the moon, the major leagues of every professional sport.
And you bring up Coach Steinmetz, and he's, we're going to interview him, and such an interesting background, right? He coached at different levels. He coached for Hank.
Hank, and then North Shore, 2 championships in a bunch of
other programs. And then, he ends up coaching for YU, and that program has reached such unbelievable heights.
I think they're better than Duke right now, by the way. They actually are this year.
To the point that they reached the pinnacle, like the absolute pinnacle last year. They, in a postseason ranking poll, they were number 5 in Division III.
In the country, they were destined for greatness. I mean, if you've seen them, and everyone was tuned in. I mean, I would,
I remember.
I like to watch a lot of games on my computer.
One game
of all ages.
Was it like Erev Shavuos, or it was like
it was a Friday? Remember you and I were talking?
Shabbos.
They scored like 100. I remember the game went to like
scoreboard.
100.
If you remember, the scoreboard wasn't even programmed to have 3 digits on it.
It went to 99
when they broke 100, it said
1.
It had like 2 points.
Right. So they were losing 72-2. And in reality, they were up by 30 points. So it was actually.
And then the pandemic hits, and listen. Coach Steinmetz is going to have such perspective for us because, he works with these guys now.
Levels.
And I think so many people listening to this podcast, those who are in high school or grade school or, coming up and
adults, by the way, we're going to have a lot of adults listening. I know that.
I'm sure. But it's like, how do I get to that next level? What does that next level look like? What kind of work do I have to put in, and we'll talk to some of those players as well.
Absolutely. And those players are superstars. And by the way, could you imagine, think about this for a second, and we're going to get into this with Coach Steinmetz. you obviously, Coach Diamond finds out before his players, the tournament's off, right? It's not happening. You're on a bus. Your mom is on a bus to the game, to the site, and you have to tell your kids who have worked the entire year, have won 30 games in a row, 25, I don't know, some incredible number. They
only
the first
lost
game.
one.
Right. They lost the first game to a powerhouse in California, and they ran the table. To tell them it's over. We're done. We're done in the Sweet 16, and I can't imagine that. And we're going to hear from Elliot. We're also going to interview talk to players to really get that perspective. And also,
these players are so level-headed, Ari. I mean,
yeah,
you and I know many of them. We
have Gabe Leifer. Gabe Leifer. We had on. We've done a ton of games with him. We've seen him dominate and do his thing. And
one of the most down-to-earth guys.
Yep.
You've ever met. And what's it like? And this is one of the things that Yeshiva League Pass and being associated with them that they look at. Basketball. It's not just because listen. It's not about whether or not you're going to make it to the NBA. I mean, the number of Jewish players in the NBA is, when you talk about.
But by the way, one of our guests, we have reached out to, we have talked with Rabbi Amari Stoudemire, who
Correct.
did reach the NBA. I don't think he was Jewish.
Not born. Not
I don't
Jewish
think he had a
at the
tip-off
time.
back then.
No. He's recently anointed.
recently came into the tip-off world. And then, we've reached out to him, and he has an unbelievable story. He's davening 3 times a day, much like you and myself. And
of course,
he's wearing the tzitzis, and he is learning Gemara. I mean, his story is phenomenal. I mean, he has embraced Judaism more than most Jews. So it's, we have talks with him. We're looking to get Adam Silver, who's the commissioner of the NBA, Coach David Blatt, Robert Kraft, the great coach. I'm sorry, the owner of the New England Patriots. Yeah. So, if you have someone, by the way, reach out to us. How do they say it? How do they hit us up? How do they tell us? I have a great story.
If you want to reach out to us,
how do they do that?
Either you have a great story, either you're interested in sponsorship, something that Ari will talk about a little more.
Yep, we'll get into that.
Slide into the YLP DMs. Yeshiva League Pass, probably how you found this video in some way, shape, or form. Slide right on in to these DMs.
Don't take out the second baseman, though, but slide nicely.
Ari, are you a DM slider? Is that? I
mean, I'm a DP, double play hitter. So if I hit into a double play, I probably wouldn't want to hurt myself and try to take anyone out.
Is it? Can we edit this? I mean, is this?
No, I don't know. I'm not really a slider.
Yeah, you don't slide into the DM.
No. I like to barrel that catcher over. Mano a mano. But
just get right in there.
Get into us. Tell us your story.
Bold capital letters, emojis. Are you an emoji guy?
I mean, I like emojis because it's fun. It's cute.
Okay.
Like I'll never write the word mango without the mango. I'll never say the word grapes without grapes. Although I don't know why I'm just thinking fruit right now.
Yeah, when do you? Is it? I mean,
no, today
beyond your wife sending you a shopping list. Yeah.
By the way, life is exciting during the pandemic. I mean, this is this is quarantined. You can do a lot of fun stuff.
Your wife doesn't send you a shopping list anymore. It's just a bunch of pictures.
Just a bunch of pictures because I can't read. I can only talk, as you can see. So,
and then you go into the store, and you have a mask on. You can't. So you just go to the guy in the store, and you hold up your phone, and you just point to the apple.
Right.
And then
it's like one of those games, and you have the symbols. You have to go find everything. That's how it works. I mean, reading is overrated these days.
But that's probably the highest level of game playing you've ever reached.
Yes, 100%. So back to our show here. If you have a story, and there are a lot of stories, story of triumph, of perseverance, reaching the pinnacle, or getting there, and then something happened. I mean, we're looking for suggestions.
Yes.
If you have,
we're not just talking about Ari getting his headphones in for this episode.
That was a whole story.
That is the story of triumph. But
they're barely staying in. But for the first pilot binary episode, they're gonna have to do.
We're gonna get you like duct tape for future. Just tape over your ear hole.
Just it'll be like a headband. I'll just duct tape it like this.
I like it.
My ears in.
I like it.
Whatever our audience wants, what we're up for. By the way, as you mentioned before, sponsorship, advertisers. We already have a couple. No, I wouldn't say a couple. When you say 8 or 9, that's more than a couple.
That's more than a couple.
Lined up, and we're looking for sponsors. I mean, we're going to have a huge platform here. So predominantly, we're probably targeting the Jewish world. I mean, I'm guessing as of right now, as we just start, you're looking behind you. Is everything kosher back there?
We're good here. It's just
making sure. So,
on with the learning.
If you have a kosher restaurant, you have a bookstore, you have a shaitel store, a clothing store, tzitzis store, camp, a restaurant.
Maybe not a shaitel store.
No, what do you mean? You never know. I mean, we're going to cover girl sports. or Balding Men's Sports. I mean, whatever.
Oh, okay. All right. No, that's
yeah. But no, we are going to be your vehicle to drive your message home. I mean, we're going to be able to do commercials. Is any of this true, Jay? We are going to be able to do commercials.
Yes, we will have
right?
commercials, advertisements,
Absolutely.
whatever you want. Listen,
this is all going to be found where? Yeshiva League Pass Instagram as well as their YouTube station.
You will find these full-length videos on YouTube. We'll post highlights on Instagram. Make sure to keep that social media synergy. Ari, are you familiar with more than Instagram? Do you know about these social media sites?
Yeah,
Are you?
Snapface is one of my favorite. I mean, I slide.
Do you have a Snapchat account?
No, I don't have a Snapchat account.
No,
don't. I have an Instagram. I have multiple Instagram accounts because sometimes why? When you post something, you kind of get tired of having one or two likes. So I
hold on. Do you do the Kevin Durant
accounts.
thing? Do you have like the Kevin Durant
What's that?
Kevin Durant? He has like the extra social media accounts, the troll accounts. Yeah, the troll accounts. Yeah.
I don't have burner accounts.
Do you have accounts so like when you post something from like a half-their basketball game, then you go on with one of your other accounts and you write like, "Wow, that Ari Witkes he's one of the best announcers I've ever heard. Kudos to Halfter." Like,
by the way, no, I only know you could like it like that. You could actually give comments like that. You
didn't know you could comment on an Instagram thing?
No. I know you can comment on Instagram, but I never took it to that level to think about egotistical. I need to compliment myself.
Oh, you've never thought about anything egotistical before?
Nah, I'm about the people. That's how I am. But no, I don't have any burner accounts. All my accounts, I keep my 7 friends. They're solid at each account.
Keep your friends close, and
right.
No,
and anyone else who doesn't
else.
like you, who cares? But no, we're gonna be bringing you, the stories of like we said, Hopefully Amari Stoudemire, Robert Kraft, Adam Silver. I mean, there are so many great Jewish stories out there, not just basketball.
Yeah.
I mean,
and I think when YLP came to us, it was, very much sort of one of their missions to say like, look, life doesn't end after your senior year of high school basketball. You can get so much more.
You and I are still alive.
Ain't that the truth? The friends that you make, through playing yeshiva sports and just the
100%.
game and being listen, I'm an undisclosed 30-year-old something that you already told our audience.
Wait, when you're 39, you still say you're 30 something? Okay.
I believe you're 30 something.
Next, you're going to tell me your height is listed at 5'10".
I am 5'10".
Okay.
I am.
That means you're a solid 5'6". Okay.
My license says 5'10".
5'10", who's actually 5'10". Because if you actually are 5'10", that means you're going to tell people you're 6 feet tall.
You know what's so
obviously
funny?
5'9" or lower.
Can I tell you something? I am 5'10", and I have never.
We're going to measure on one episode. You better get in training now.
I come from a tall family. I have a 6'2" father and a 6 foot. I'm the shortest. And my cousin Daniel, 6'4", whatever.
Your cousin spells his name differently. Yeah, okay.
I'm telling you, check the familytree.com or whatever that thing's called.
Wikipedia, what's it called?
There's a name. I don't know.
We'll look into it.
I have never once, and being the shortest man in my family, I have never once thought about lying about my height.
You?
No.
By the way, shout out to your sister for making this great tip-off.
That's right.
Thing.
Huge shout out to my sister.
By the way, I'm still not sure who the people on top of the tip-off are, but I think they're supposed to resemble us.
Yes. A huge shout out to the Rebinson Shira Alman for making this logo for us.
Yeah,
it is
we appreciate it.
Greatly appreciated. No matter how many times I'd ask her.
By the way, the word merch is coming out. Swag.
Oh, listen, if you know Ari Witkes, you know that not an endeavor goes by without merch being basically the second thought. The first thought is like, okay, how do we do it? And then it's what's the merch?
Right. Then it's like, how can I pay and make sure we don't make any money on anything? Create something and then buy most of it. I got to tell you, it's been a rough winter, not just because of COVID. It has not stopped snowing here in New York. If you're listening on the northeast coast of the United States. We are a national show, right? We're simulated. What's it called? Simulcast?
Syndicated. Oh my god!
I knew it was something. You could have gone with it.
For Hanukkah this year, I'm getting you a dictionary. Listen,
well, I can't read, so that doesn't help. You have to have one of those audible, audio.
Audacity deals. I'll just get you a coloring book. Listen,
Excellent.
Listen.
Can't get between the lines though.
It has been such a rough winter, and I have had so many awesome Halfter hats that I've taken out to shovel in. And I realize over the years how much you've done to bring these designs to life, not to mention the really cool baseball hat that I brought to life under your guidance.
Yeah, you helped create it. You did help create it. That is.
I wasn't doing it on my own, but once you like, are these hats still available? Where do you get these? Morton's?
No, they're sold out.
Are we giving out free?
They are going to be an advertiser. They are lined up. Morton's is lined up to be an advertiser.
Or is the official gear sponsor of the life of Ari Witkes.
Yes, correct. Shout out to Steve Silverman, the owner. Great store over there in Central Avenue.
By the way, now that we have the podcast, YLP should sponsor something, like the tip-off player of the tournament or something. That's something I wanted to get into with you, right?
Yeah.
Think about this. And I think
by the way, I can't wait for a tournament.
Listen, this is my day.
I may just start one in my backyard just to get some games going here.
I believe you. This is my day job. Yeah. I do this for a living. I live stream for a living. Okay.
Wait, your day job? It's nighttime, isn't it?
That's why we're doing this now.
Oh, I got you. Now,
by the way, I leave this room. This room looks like this at 7 a.m, 7 p.m. It doesn't matter.
Looks nice, by the way.
Thank you. I worked hard. I changed the colors for the.
I like the orange. It's very.
Blue. I got the blue to match your shirt.
Do I have that behind me, or is that just you?
It's you have like the light version. I spent months doing this room. This doesn't just. This, all this doesn't just happen.
It doesn't just happen. By the way, that's why you're the best in the business. When Yeshiva League Past approached me, and they said, you know how to do the technical stuff. I'm like, what do you mean technical?
You're like,
technically talk? I can do that, but the other stuff, I don't know. I said, hold on. I said yes, I'm going to do it. You didn't even finish your question. I'm interested, but let me get Hollywood Jay Aron, because without Jay, we're probably not being able to be seen by everyone.
So hold on, are you telling me I'm not here for my sports knowledge?
No, not really. No.
Are you aware that I'm
here for my amusement?
Are you aware that I have a master's degree in sports business?
I don't know. I can make up a degree in anything. Also, I'm also a COVID director. There's many degrees.
Shout out Joey Honig.
You can make up many things out there too.
No, that's a true story. I have a master's degree in sports business from New York University. Just to give some legitimacy to this podcast, please.
Wait, hold on. I've heard of NYU.
That's the place. Place.
So that you're okay. So we never heard of referred to New York University.
No.
That's like their stepchild sister.
No, like snobs like me went to New York University.
Oh, okay.
Whatever. All it means is I paid too much money for a degree. Listen. What I think I had a point like 5 minutes ago that you hijacked.
I don't know, but it was probably very interesting. I'm sure we'll come back to you when we have nothing else to talk about.
We were talking about clothes. We were talking about hats,
merchandise, right?
Merchandise and shoveling. I was saying that we should sponsor like a player of the game at a tournament, right? I said that, and then we're gonna get there.
Okay, and, you said I see the wheel. So I was saying,
listen, I do this professionally. I do this for a living, right? And I think it's a very interesting question. What's going to happen when sports comes back, right? We talked about that a little bit. We talked about the missed opportunities, but what about when the opportunities present themselves again? I think we all understand there's going to be.
First of all, I think, and I'm interrupting on your point here, so this is loud.
What else?
I think the kids.
Welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I think the kids are going to embrace it and really live in the moment, because having something taken away from you, especially when you're a youngster, and seniors are youngsters, right? As much as they think they're the big man on campus, they're kids.
Turn 30, you'll see.
Right, to have a year of sports, or even half a year last year, kids who were supposed to play in championship games and those championships didn't happen, and now a season, you're a senior, you're an eighth grader, as I mentioned before, you don't have that opportunity. I think, God willing, Yirtzeh Hashem, the kids get back out there and they have this outlet again. They are going to embrace it. And it's going to be more about, yes, you play to win, but you play for that camaraderie. You play for the school, the pride, for your family. That is a real, tangible thing that people overlook. And I think it's going to be more on the forefront once, God willing, sports gets back. Because, these, and I've talked to a bunch of coaches as well as the principal committee who will ultimately decide, when the Yeshiva League sports are back. They understand the importance of sports in Yeshiva League. From every sport, volleyball, girls, boys, hockey, basketball, softball, football, everything. Torah ball, as I mentioned. It's a big part of your adolescence, right? It's the camaraderie. It's the accomplishing something together, a goal. It's the being an underdog and beating someone who you never had a chance. One of the things I do all the time, with my Lions Den program, I make teams in certain.
Are we allowed to have free plugs or things?
Yeah, that was a free plug.
Dude, yeah,
give me the buzzer.
Ferrari's like program.
There it is. So and this is a true story. One of the things I do whenever game we're playing, and I do this thing from first grade up to high school. You make teams. Inevitably, what happens? All these teams aren't fair, right? That team's too good. This team's too good. I go. Really? Let me ask you a question. When you play for your team and you go against Frisch, North Shore, DRS, and you may be a Hafter, you may be a smaller school, TABC. Do you walk in and be like, oh, they're just a better team? No, you got to go out there. The teams are not ever going to be stacked. You're a 5 and they're a 5 and the 10s play the 10s. It's never going to be like that. So, that's what you got to learn as a kid. You got to go out there. And by the way, that's a great thing of sports. The miracle on ice, the great comebacks, the little school bit, Shari Torah last year, who was probably a great chance to win the championship last year, a small all boys school. But, you get a couple players, you get a great coach, a great system, you work together. Anything is possible. And that's what our show is going to be about these types of stories. And, there's a lot of inspiration in as much as when we were kids, we thought we were going to play maybe until our senior year, because I don't even think we even had dreams of YU back then. I mean, now these YU programs are.
I played hockey. I played floor hockey.
All right. So your career was over, very quickly. But
you know what? It's not a joke. I remember, listen, this is no joke. First of all, to your point, absolutely.
What
yes.
was my point? Because I kind of went off there. I don't remember.
I'm sure you didn't have one. I'm just going to help you out here.
Thank you.
To your point, I am sure that the hockey experience that I had in high school absolutely shaped what high school was for me. There's no doubt about it. Did it shape the rest of my life? I don't know. Probably not.
Right.
Definitely not. But it did shape that experience. That experience was absolutely. And I did other things in high school. I did a lot of theater in high school. I won the drama award at TABC, the first one that was ever given out.
Excuse me.
That should surprise nobody. But
that wasn't a COVID cough, by the way. That was just a undertone of it, just calling you something. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, yeah. You mean a right? So
right, there you go.
There it is. Just tell me whenever you need me to hit the bleep. I'll take care of it for you.
There we go.
But it does. Your experience is shaped, when they play these sports. And listen, like I said, playing high school floor hockey, I had no delusions of, collegiate continuation of sports.
I can guarantee when you played, that was the biggest moment for you at that time, right?
It was. I remember the night we lost. We lost to Frisch in an
was it called overtime? It did not go to.
I was going to say overtime.
The lights just went off back then. They didn't have overtime.
Mo Fuchs would kill me for forgetting. It was. I believe we lost. It was the semifinal playoff game. It was a Saturday night. I believe we lost 3-2 in regulation. I think that's what it was. They scored a late goal.
Your fault? No, you were on the bench. I mean, did you stick it on the court by accident?
Senior year I played. I was right. Top two.
A fifth year senior, you always get a little.
Yeah, listen. No, I was
like that
top
kid who has an early
defenseman.
birthday in January when he's really a year ahead of in 6th grade, and he's like,
no, nothing like that. Let's everybody relax. But I'll never forget that night. And it's funny because I don't remember the score. Obviously, I don't remember if the game went to overtime, but I remember being in that locker room and knowing. Because listen, as a kid, a 17-year-old kid, like you have no idea what life's about to look like for the next 20 years, 30 years, 40 years.
The world
50 years,
is your
whatever.
oyster.
But you did know that moment. I knew it was the last time I was going to be in a locker room playing an organized sport at that level.
Right.
And by the way, I'm 38 years old. I still play organized sports. I play a ton of softball. I play ice hockey. I play whatever. Organized referees. I mean, it's not the same. Like the intensity. No. Of those
now it's about not
sports.
hurting yourself.
Right, exactly. Right. If I can wake up the next morning, it's a win. You know?
But by the way, think about the seniors, right? The seniors who, and not only the seniors, the kids, as I mentioned before, about the kids who were in the championship game or one of the 2 or 3 teams left in the hockey. Well, hockey, the varsity level was championship. I think the JV also, they had the championship set. Basketball was, I think they had the final 4 and 3 in JV and varsity. And your season's done, shut off. Would you have won that championship? Would you have not? I mean, obviously, as years go by, you're going to say you won that championship or you would have. I mean,
of course,
you had that. You didn't have that chance, that closure. And then, this year, there's no season. And if there is going to be a season, it's, God willing, it should happen. And it should be, everyone should be happy and healthy. And most importantly, the schools, obviously, what's most important is keeping their schools open. And they're across the board, from the Jersey schools, the city schools, out in Long Island, everywhere. They're doing a great job of keeping their schools open, because you see what's going on in New York City with, all these schools being shut down and closed. I mean, these schools, I can talk for myself for Hafter, for my kids who go there and your kids who go there. I mean, they're keeping the school open. They're doing everything they can. And it is an undertaking and a half. I mean, it's unbelievable. So they want sports to happen. They know how important it is, especially for those older kids, for who it's going to be their last hurrah. But, it's, that's what we're going to try to do. We're going to try to bring those stories of how the sports and being a Jew and in their story in the background, really translates to what's happening and how you shape the rest of your lives. I mean,
and listen, this podcast was grown out of a void, for not having sports and saying, hey, let's get those deeper stories, and it'll come back. When the sports come back, we'll be here, and this show will be shaped a little bit differently, a little bit of the same. So,
are you going to get in shape for the show when we're actually bringing our guests on? Or
you're in shape.
Yeah, I know. I'm asking about you.
What do we both have to be in shape? Do I have to pay?
I guess
Can you
not.
Could I just get like a free Zoom session? Like,
yeah, that's fine.
I could jump
get
in.
You something.
Can I jump in with
with
the women of the Lions Den?
There's a lot, There's the Lions Den is zooming away, so it's a good thing, thank God. But
I like to keep myself not in shape, but not out of shape. You know what I mean?
By the way, circle is a shape, just so you know.
That's true too.
Okay.
No, I just I always like to be.
You like to teeter on the edge of if I wanted to get in better shape, I could, but
right, like
when I have an extra piece of challah, I can also.
Right, like give me 5 weeks and I'll get into shape.
Right.
And
you're one of those.
Exactly.
You can turn it on. That's a gift to be able to turn it on and off like that.
It really, honestly, it is genetically. Thank you to my parents. Thank you to
Mark and Miriam.
To Tati, my king. Right? Yes, those are the ones.
Nice.
Tati, my king, took care of me. He,
Oh, by the way, great song. I love that song, Tati, my king.
Funny you should bring that up.
That's the Waterberries, right?
Yeah. So huge shout out to the Waterberry Waterberries. Yesterday I was with my good friend, also my music guru and producer and everything else, Arya Kunstler, and we recorded.
I love him too.
We recorded 3 live versions of Waterberry songs, and that was one of them. And I know that's coming out for a new project that they're working on.
By the way, no joke, Jay. I am a huge Jewish music fan. I mean, I love Eitan Katz, Shlomo Katz. I mean, Simcha Leinert, Mordechai Shapiro. I mean, there's a ton of them. I mean,
all
I
these
really
guys.
like.
By the way, I have connections to all these.
By the way,
connections to all these
maybe
guys.
we bring them on for an episode. I'm sure Mordechai.
By the way, do you know that Mordechai Shapiro is a phenomenal softball player?
Yeah, I've seen him. By the way, that is look at this. Look at us hopping on air.
It's funny. There, he's just Morty over there. He's not Mordechai Shapiro. He's just Morty. Okay. But he is a very good softball player.
Yeah, by the way, and he's a Muncie boy, like my wife. He's from Muncie originally.
Your wife's a Muncie boy too?
Well, no, my wife's not a Muncie boy, but she is.
I mean, that's what you said. I'm just clarifying to the audience.
He is a Muncie boy. My wife is a Muncie girl.
I didn't know that. I didn't know your wife was from Muncie.
Yeah, so and by the way, the world of Muncie, it's a totally different animal out there. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But and I'm not just talking about during COVID. I mean, that's a whole nother story. Muncie,
no,
we can't. But whatever.
We can't get into.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that because we are looking for sponsors in
Muncie.
Muncie there's some good pizza stores, some good,
definitely good shakos shop or two, like you said.
So there are a lot of opportunities out there. But and what was I saying? Now I lost my track. Oh yeah, so Jewish music is a great thing and by inspiring. So Tati, my king, Waterberry, I like that. By the way, Mordechai Shapiro, we're gonna have to put him on our hit list.
So that song,
excellent softball player, or he's like a pretty good pickup softball player.
No. He's a very good Jewish softball player.
Okay, that's like a huge compliment. A very good Jewish.
Listen, I will say this.
Is he a better singer or a better softball player?
Probably a better singer.
Okay,
but he's a phenomenal singer. I mean,
I know that's why it was a layup, right? You couldn't say no to that.
Right. Listen. My sports accomplishment sitting on the bench in 8th grade basketball and being the sixth.
Don't ever underestimate the 12th man on an 11th man team. It's called the manager.
It's called the water boy.
Sometimes they even get you uniforms also. I've been on teams where I've seen that. Managers wear uniforms.
I did have very high softball accomplishments outside of the Jewish world. I will say
that's huge. High pitch. Oh, when you play those co-ed leagues, some of those girls are good.
I only did that once, and I will tell you that the men that I played with, the women were all right. The men that I played with in co-ed softball were some of the best. I listen, I played in my mid-30s, and these guys were like in their young 20s, and they were some of the best softball players I've ever played with. I mean,
I played softball with you, by the way. Were you part of any of our championship teams? I think you probably were.
I don't remember if we won championships, but I do remember us playing together in Great Neck.
Yes,
with some of the greats.
Our connection just runs deep.
Do you know that I still play with one person from that team?
From our original team?
Yep.
Is his initials AS?
Yes, it is.
Ah, the great Alan Judge. It's the judge. He's the judge. He is the real judge, not Aaron Judge. He's Judge Alan Schiff of the Queens court system. Just so you know, a little shout out to him.
Yes, exactly.
If you're looking to get out of parking tickets,
I was about to say, does that get you out of a parking ticket or like
Nothing.
a felony arrest or what?
He is as straight and narrow a judge as you can find. He's just a good guy. He's not going to do anything except for indict people who deserve to be indicted, I guess.
Yeah, judges don't indict people, but
don't they say guilty or not guilty?
Legal sponsor on this
They
program.
wear the robes. They wear the robes. I've seen the robes.
Yes.
That's important stuff.
Yes, they do wear robes.
But back to our show. I mean, we are looking for advertisers to, like I said, we already have about 8 or 9, but come to us, slide into our DMs, Yeshiva League Pass. Come right in. By the Yeshiva League Pass, I want to just say something about them because we kind of take it for granted about this whole live stream world, right? So you and I and really kudos to Hafter, they were really the innovators of the whole live stream. Way bring Yeshiva League sports.
Not necessarily the first, but
not necessarily the first, but they really
the first to do it.
Elevated it, with the stats, with the graphics and everything that they do. And by the way, now kudos to all the schools. They have taken and run with it. I mean, I've seen the DRS productions, the TABC productions, the SAR. I mean,
and can you imagine where we are now and how important that's going to be had that not been done across?
By the way, I was actually just talking to someone on the board of one of these schools, and they said, just so you understand, when sports gets back, I mean, the live stream is going to be so much more elevated and so much more important.
I may have to quit my real job.
Yeah, I mean, seriously, we're going to have to go from game to game. But no, all these schools do a phenomenal job. And it's really, and think about it, we often joke. I mean, if I can go back and see a video of me wearing my shorts that kind of covered most of my leg, well, at least what was, the tip, whatever. We'll talk about it later. But,
just the tip.
Right. You don't want to see certain videos happen. But can you imagine that these kids, they get interviewed after a game, highlight of a play, your story. I mean, they get to have this,
you and I have fun with it. You and I have fun with it. But, we talk about, listen, I'll never forget Saturday night, Satrin tournament.
Oh, I know where you're going. Oh, my God.
2000
Coco.
17?
It's got to be more than 4 years ago.
16?
I think Cody Cohen is married with 4 kids and Gabe Leifer's married also. So
yeah, well, that is the game. The Cody Cohen half-court buzzer beater, double overtime.
Pull up
if
3.
you told that story to somebody, if we never filmed it, you'd say it never happened. I mean, yeah, game went into double overtime, ice in his veins, drops a half quarter, Jim goes banana sandwich.
We went bananas. We didn't sleep all night, and we had nothing to do with it except
I don't think you slept for a month. I mean,
I didn't. That was. By
the way, we had no vested interest in the game. It was the Satrin tournament game. After
it was excitement. By the way, if you could have told us at that moment you could go and watch Michael Jordan in the finals right now, but you'd have to leave this game, I don't think we were going anywhere.
Listen, I never did anything. I scored some goals. I made some good defensive. I never did anything.
Practice goals are important.
Listen, I never did anything in yeshiva hockey that was probably worth filming or watching back. But I've had some softball moments over the years that I wish were on tape. They'd certainly get a bunch of likes on Instagram.
And by the way, that's
hundreds of followers.
That's what Yeshiva League Pass has done. If you follow their Instagram,
absolutely,
they report every night who won the game, who was the high scorer, the upset, the rankings. I mean, they bring all this information. They have thousands upon thousands of followers, and that's why.
And that's what we're doing here.
Is the vehicle that's going to. I mean, our show is hopefully entertain you and inform you and give you some great perspective and stories, but really, they're the platform, the vehicle that's going to drive everything home between their Instagram, their YouTube, their website, which has been just I almost said refurbished. I mean that
it's refurbished.
Is it refurbished?
No.
I mean, I guess that's like my headphones somewhere.
What is it? What is it? A couch?
I don't know. That's why I said refurbished didn't work. But YeshivaLeaguePass.com. I mean, they have everything. And by the way, one other thing to talk about is, these days, these kids and all these teams, I mean, especially I can speak about the basketball, they go to tournaments, they get on a plane, they go to California, they go to Sarachek,
yeah, I mean, that's something we never. By the way,
they are going places.
There still to this day isn't a good hockey tournament like that.
Yeah, there's not. There really is. I know they have some after season AllStar games and stuff.
I made the AllStar team, by the way, senior year. Would you believe that? It's true story.
No, don't. I need to see video of that.
By the way, when you want to talk about the end, I was the end of that bench.
Oh, okay. Well, look, that's an all-star team.
You know what? You
can hang your hat on that.
This is what it's all about. In all seriousness, do you know what at the time, what an honor and a privilege that was?
Oh, I'm sure.
Like, and we had a very good team. Us and Frisch were the two better East Conference, whatever they were, Eastern, West, whatever.
Yeah, I never understood that. We're all in the East, but they decided to make someone the Western.
Exactly.
Never
So
caught that one.
we were, and I'm not good with directions, so I wouldn't even know what's East.
Wow,
what's
you
West.
just admit there's something you're not good at?
Oh, I'm terrible. If I think it's left, it
Thank
is
God for
always
Waze.
right.
Waze, potential sponsor.
Yes,
They're
call it.
Jewish, right? They're Israeli. Well, they were.
The
Israeli.
technology was developed in Israel. I think Google bought it. Anyway, whatever.
Okay.
But
hit us up.
listen, no, I mean, we had a very good team, and there were 7 All-Stars selected from our team and 7 from Frisch, and then like the JECs and Kushner had 1 or 2, and I was the 7th guy.
The pity All-Star votes back then. I went to JEC, so I can say that from
Yeah, but
first-hand
listen,
perspective.
I was the 7th guy on TABC to get the nod. The last guy.
Because the 7th All-Star is very valuable in your own team. I mean, think about it.
We had a very.
Well, you play 5 at a time in hockey, and you were the 7th best. So that's equivalent to third line.
No, second. I was second line.
Okay.
I played second line defense.
Okay, and you're 5'10", and okay.
I'm 5'10".
I don't know.
At some point in the show, I'm gonna have to take out a ruler and just
You
measure
are.
me.
You're going to have to prove that to everyone. We're going to have to.
And do my hair at some point. I'm too lazy.
Yeah, no, I understand. It's okay. We like it covered. By the way,
amen to that.
That's part of it. But yeah, this is. I mean, the tournaments are unbelievable where these kids go. I mean, you're going to these places, and I mean, oh, by the way, we should mention it. We forgot to mention it. Yeshiva League Pass is actually going to be carrying all of the recaps of YU basketball this year. I believe they're exclusive provider. I know Max Live.
I think Max Live is going to do the live games, and
right,
Yeshiva
and they're
League
going to do the recap,
highlights, and those sorts of
all that great stuff.
Post game stuff. Yeah.
Yes, they're going to be. So remember them if you want to find out who won that game. I don't know if every game is even live streamed on the road or not. I don't know what the story is with YU basketball.
COVID and
right. There's going to be a lot of things, so they're going to keep you informed. And I also heard we have an intro song coming out for us.
We
right?
do. It'll be in the beginning of this
Tati
episode.
My King or no?
Maybe I could talk to Aryeh. By the way, unknown fact, Aryeh Kunstler is one of the harmony voices in that track and plays guitar and a lot of other instruments. Yeah.
By the way,
if you listen closely, you could hear it.
Really? I didn't know that. I tell you, I only discovered it.
Maybe he could do a different version called Ari My King, for intro song.
But by the way, he has a song with the word lion in it. I mean, he's a fellow lion, Aryeh.
Yes, he is. Up Like a Lion is the name of
Up Like a Lion, yeah.
Yes.
He did a song with one of my also favorite Jewish musicians, Yosef Karduner.
Yes, that is his most popular song.
Is that his song? He is Yosef Karduner. I mean, I've been shows live, heard him. Unbelievable. I mean, if you want to talk about something hitting your heart straight, you're hitting those chords. Whew. Unbelievable.
Wow, so between Jewish music and Jewish basketball, that pretty much occupies
Thank God I'm Jewish.
Your whole life.
Right. Thank God for the started. It started all with the tip off.
Yeah, you could have just been like Amari. You could have just been like Amari Stoudemire.
Right.
Joined up later
after. But I'm born into it.
Love it.
I started early. Tip off. I didn't have much choice, and I was a trooper. And this tip off show is going to be great. It's going to be everything that you want to hear. And by the way, tell us. We're looking for feedback, and it is kind of starting different businesses now. And COVID and Corona. I'm not sure what's the proper way to refer to it now. These kids. Everyone has different words for it.
Probably can't repeat some of them on air.
Right. Exactly. But think about it. I always tell people I want to hear what needs to improve. Right. If you're doing a business, whatever it is, not everyone say, oh yeah, you're great at this, you're great at that, because okay, you probably know what you're good at, but when someone tells you constructive criticism or something that and you could say it in a way like, tell me, like, are we talking too much about this? You want to hear more about this sport, or, reach out to this celebrity or this person who's got a great story and we don't even know about it. Hit us up, let us know. We're looking for this show is for everyone out there. I mean, you and I love to talk and, we like to look at each other on the screen, which is great. But, this vehicle is about, really filling that void for this year and then for years to come on the recaps and everything else, because there's just so much to talk about. And, the world of 2021, it's about being negative, right? No one wants to be positive anymore. No, positive is bad. You got to get that report back negative, right? It's like my report card.
Ari.
Yes.
We went about 50 minutes, 5-0, and we were only going to go 30. We went 50. Listen.
But it feels like 5, you and I talking to each other.
Listen, the last podcast I did, I co-hosted with Sinbad. We
don't like, by the way, that is a bad Jewish guess. We don't like sins. He's not coming. Mordechai Shapiro, he's on the list. Sinbad, not.
I don't know if Sinbad will be a guest on this show or a co-host. But it's a pleasure. And this is not a joke, by the way. Technically funny. You could check it out. Our episodes are archived. But
wait, hit your button for plugging yourself also. We each plug
wait, that's
once.
right. It's called but you can check that out. we need a sound effect for every time we try to plug ourselves.
Correct.
But I was just gonna say, all right, it's an honor to be here with you. I mean, Sinbad's great,
and everyone out there.
Honor to be here with this guy right here. This guy.
Oh wait, I went the wrong way.
See, I told you it's hard.
I know
it's hard. It's
People
hard.
Understand that.
We can go tip to tip. At the end of tip
to tip. It is a tip off.
Oh, tip.
I can't. Oh, there it is.
There it is. There,
right.
Up, back. We'll figure this out.
We've
by
obviously
episode 10.
been talking too long because we are just like. By the way, that's socially distanced at its best.
There it is.
Right there.
All right, episode 01 binary in the books. Jason, Aron, Ari Witkes. There. We'll be back next time with a guest, with an actual guest. Ari, you have anything left to say to the people?
I am just welcome. Happy to have you on this journey, this ride with us. We hope it's enjoyable. It's fun. Sponsors, advertisers, reach out. YouTube, you're going to find us at the Yeshiva League Pass YouTube station, as well as their Instagram and every other vehicle on their website. And we look forward to entertaining you, having fun. We don't take ourselves seriously. We want to have a good time, and we just want to make this great. So keep watching, and thank you for joining us, and we will see you soon.